This innovative product has the ability to completely transform the market by entering markets that Nike and other companies have hardly penetrated. Think about this. Caitlin Clark recently signed a contract worth approximately $30 million, which is reportedly worth $3 million a year for 8 to 10 years. Nike has boldly retaliated against Adidas after coming to a discovery that may change the nature of competition. Even more startlingly, Nike has sued Adidas, claiming that the company is attempting to sabotage this historic agreement. Deep ideological differences are shown by this predicament, which goes beyond just getting Clark a better deal. Some contend that the emphasis on diversity, equity, and inclusion obscures important business and expansion goals, particularly in programs like the WNBA. Adidas is now fiercely arguing that they made an offer to Clark, which she rejected, in this high-stakes conflict between two massive sportswear companies. Nike, the powerhouse of the business, is squarely in their sights as this scenario plays out. There is no denying Caitlin Clark's influence on basketball. She raised the WNBA's profile and gave the game a new lease on life. But in terms of money, she has made $28 million over the course of 8 years, which is far less than the $100 million offers that are circulating and demonstrates Nike's determination to hold on to a valuable asset. This whole story, which is full of market manipulation and business intrigue, not only stirs things up, but also attracts public attention and criticism, transforming what may have been a company error into a spectacle. It was revealed during this year's WNBA season that Caitlin Clark had landed a hefty endorsement contract with Nike, worth $28 million over 8 years, which included her own signature sneaker line. There was a noticeable sense of sympathy for Adidas at the time because they came very close to taking advantage of what Nike had overlooked. This was not just a social media rumor, it was a real power struggle that involved heated discussions and was comparable to a sneaker industry coup. Adidas threw its weight behind Clark in a way that suggested more than simply a business deal. It was a full-scale effort to gain control. Nike was caught off surprise and had to immediately adjust and act. The ongoing conflict between Nike and Adidas is a mirror of broader conflicts and tactics at work throughout the business, not simply sportswear. This story continues to enthrall audiences, highlighting the competitive nature of the sportswear industry and the transformational potential of well-known endorsements. Nike appeared to have struck gold when they signed Caitlin Clark to an 8-year endorsement contract for $28 million. Strangely enough, though, Nike hasn't done much to market her since. There have been no advertisements, no products using the Caitlin Clark name, and surprisingly, no signatures. Given that Caitlin had already sworn allegiance to Nike, this odd quiet is all the more remarkable. Nike pledged to develop a signature shoe collection for her in 2024, but failed to deliver on the promise, a common blunder for the company, instead of recognizing her as the basketball legend she is. It now looks like Caitlin won't be able to wear her own iconic shoe until 2026 or 2027, which goes beyond a simple delay and borders on a serious contract violation. It's surprising that since Clark became a professional, Nike hasn't released a single promotional item with her. According to sources, the presence of A'ja Wilson, a WNBA MVP and another Nike athlete, may have had an impact on this choice. A sneaker for Wilson should come first, according to the company's internal culture, which was previously renowned for generating noise. This may be because Wilson is an MVP and her public persona is less contentious than Clark's. This has generated intense debates, with some pundits, such as Don Staley and other outspoken activists, accusing Nike of favoring Wilson over Clark and raising questions about potential racial dynamics. Even though Clark has a sizable and active fan base, Nike appears to have determined that removing her line would prevent negative publicity. Because of this safe move, some people, including A.A. Wilson herself, have commented on how unlikely it is that her shoes will sell well, seemingly bringing an early end to Clark's relationship with Nike. But it's obvious that the story is far from over. In my opinion, it's quite telling. Despite the criticism, I would be happy to don Caitlin Clark's distinctive sneakers if they were available. Adidas, meantime, has been watching closely from the sidelines and waited for the ideal opportunity to intervene by making Clark a sizable offer, taking advantage of Nike's hesitancy. Adidas has not only matched, but also raised the bar, giving Clark the kind of autonomy and creative flexibility that most players can only imagine. This empowerment goes beyond just shoes. Unlike Nike, Clark now has the ability to govern her fan interactions, develop a personal brand, and influence her advertising narratives. Caitlin Clark is without a doubt the most marketable athlete in the WNBA right now, serving as both its face and its finest player. If both Ojo Wilson and she produce sneakers at the same time, could she outsell him? Many people think so, particularly because Adidas is now giving her the opportunity to shine unhindered. The fact that over 20 million people watched Clark in the national championship game is evidence of the growing frenzy surrounding her. Adidas is pushing the boundaries and redefining athlete endorsements in ways that have the potential to upend the sportswear industry as a whole, while Nike struggles with its corporate goals. With a confrontation of not just talent, but also brand power and player influence in the high stakes world of sports marketing, this dynamic competition entices us to pay close attention as the upcoming season draws near. Caitlin Clark's sneakers are expected to be released in 2024 or maybe 2026. Nike keeps delaying this release date, which heightens market and fan expectation. Adidas, on the other hand, has taken a different approach. Adidas is eager to take advantage of Clark's devoted fan base and has promised a faster sneaker line release date, so her fans won't become disinterested after long waits. Adidas understands that Clark's followers have a limited amount of patience, particularly given Nike's seemingly endless delays. Adidas hopes to maintain the excitement by guaranteeing an early release, demonstrating their appreciation that Clark deserves prompt attention. Adidas makes a bold stride forward, whereas Nike appears to be in the midst of internal strife. Nike is on high alert because they fear a public relations catastrophe if Clark accepts Adidas's offer. They are well aware that if Clark's sneaker releases and A.O. Wilson's were in direct competition, Clark's might sell out faster and eclipse Wilson's. Nike is frantically trying to maintain its market share and corporate image in light of this possible outcome. Given Clark's talent and the comparatively low contract amount of $28 million spread over 8 years, this circumstance has caused many to wonder why Nike was first hesitant to promote her. Nike has turned into complete damage control as a reactive step to rectify their error and counter Adidas's aggressive effort. They intend to expedite the shoe line's manufacturing and launch in order to bring it back into line with the initial 2024 timeline they established when they signed Clark. Their unusual haste, though, reveals a concern of losing Clark to Adidas, which would be a serious damage to their reputation as a handler of elite athletes in addition to a financial one. Notwithstanding her achievements, such as winning WNBA Rookie of the Year, both fans and onlookers have criticized Nike for their tardiness in releasing her signature sneaker. The public has seen Nike seem to put other athletes ahead of Clark, marginalizing her and not taking use of her rising stardom. Discussions concerning athlete management and loyalty and corporate sponsorships have been triggered by this apparent neglect. The campaign has gained momentum thanks to public endorsements from individuals such as Adidas ambassador Billie Jean King, who has publicly praised Clark's accomplishments. In the middle of this corporate rivalry and mounting dissatisfaction, there have been suggestions that Nike is planning a significant marketing campaign to keep Clark. According to rumors, these initiatives, which are all meant to keep Clark with Nike, include massive advertising campaigns, increased bonuses, and expedited manufacturing procedures. Nike is making a strategic shift with these initiatives in an effort to lessen the possible harm to their reputation and brand in the sport and larger social settings, which call for a more fair and flexible approach to player endorsements. Additionally, the conflict between Adidas and Nike might soon move beyond business wrangling and into the legal system. Nike makes the grave claim that Adidas has manipulated contracts, which could lead to legal action. This conflict demonstrates the intense rivalry in the sportswear industry, where contracts turn into battlefields, and the interactions between sportsmen and companies can occasionally lead to contentious legal disputes. It is obvious that the resolution of this complicated case will have a big impact on the sportswear sector, possibly changing corporate responsibility and athlete endorsement tactics. Caitlin Clark is at the epicenter of this maelstrom. Her career choices now have ramifications that go well beyond the basketball floor, including business practices, market trends, and the legal environment surrounding sports endorsements. Power dynamics, marketing tactics, and the changing role of athletes in influencing their careers and the businesses they represent are all topics covered in this ongoing story, which is not just about sneakers.